Parenting can be so rewarding, yet it can also be so challenging. A child is a precious gift from God. You blink and the years pass, and what was once this tiny baby is now this individual that I can't always control. So how does the gospel change the way I should parent my children? When we think about parenting, we have to remember the big picture. Ultimately, the goal is not having the smartest child on the block or the best athlete or the child with the best manners. Ultimately, the goal of parenting is to pass your faith along to the next generation. One of the key parenting scriptures is Deuteronomy chapter 6, specifically verses 5 through 9. And today I want to share with you 3 key principles about parenting from these verses. Number 1, make your faith personal. You can't pass along what you don't have. If you want to teach your children to love God, you have to love God yourself. I often ask myself, when my children look at the normal patterns of my life, can they tell that I love God? Or do my actions regularly show that I love other things more than I love God? My children can certainly see how passionate I can get over my favorite football team. Well, do they see the same love or the same passion in my love for God? Number 2, be intentional. Gone are the days when your children would just follow God because they're in a Christian family. There are so many other things vying for your child's attention and allegiance. And Satan has done a masterful job of using neutral things like technology to undermine Christian values. Deuteronomy 6 tells parents, you have to love God with all your heart. You then have to impress this love for God on your children in many different ways. The text says, when you sit at home, when you walk along the road, when you lie down, when you get up, you also need symbols in your life, symbols that remind you and that remind your family of your love for God. If you aren't intentional about passing your faith along to your children, someone or something else will pour their values into your children. Number 3, invest regularly. When my children were growing up, we had plenty of times when they needed some discipline or correction from Dad. And as a parent, it was important that I provided consistent discipline and correction when needed. But I found out fairly quickly that it was difficult for my children to hear instruction or training when they were about to be corrected for bad behavior, because all they could hear at that point was what their punishment would be. However, when we were at the grocery store and someone else's child acted up, it became a great teaching moment. When we were together at a soccer game, watching someone else's child exhibit a negative attitude, what a great opportunity to unpack that together with my child. Even watching a television program in which non-Christian values were portrayed became an opportunity to talk about living as a Christian 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You see, these opportunities were effective because my child wasn't in trouble at the time. We could talk more openly because we were talking about another child's struggle. And let's face it, most of us don't learn valuable lessons because someone shared that lesson with us once. We all need reinforcement, and our children are no exception. The best times to intentionally invest in your children are in the normal routines of life. As we do life together, as we spend time together, as we actually talk with each other, you as a parent can have a powerful impact on your child. And that is the gospel in everyday life.